I'm David01, and welcome back to another episode of the Mini City, sponsored by Mini City Petrochemical Corporation. It's good to be back in the city, and after a fairly small delay as well. And as you might see, things are finally starting to return to normal here. My office has been patched up a little bit, although unfortunately no TV of equivalent size could be found, or at least not for the right price, so I am having to make do with a little bit more antiquated technology, but I mean, I've always enjoyed these little more outdated electronics, so it's fine. But there are some things in the city that are bothering me. Little things, like these burned ruins, these abandoned buildings, empty alleyways and exposed back walls, among other unsightly things. And so today I've decided to embark on a city beautification project. But of course, I can't tackle all of this alone, so I think I'll need some help. Such as from Poptick! In an unprecedented move for the city, MCPC has given the city the budget for another municipal employee other than myself. This is astounding! Poptick, say hello to your new office! Oh. Well, we'll see what can be done about that. Uh-huh. Alright. That's glad to hear. So you've released the funds for it? Perfect. Well, Poptick, you've been approved for a new office. You can remodel it as you wish. Well, you seem pleased with your new office, Poptick. Now, you can get down to the business of helping me to repair the city a bit. But first, my intro. Of course, this will just be phase 1 of the project. Now, being on a plan to make the city a little more beautiful and clean it up a bit, one of the first things that must go is the burned down ruins of this little Christmas market here. And in fact, pretty much everything in this park needs to be retrofitted out. This entire thing will be revamped by someone in the near future, I'm not sure, but too much of this here is extremely outdated, such as episode 10 through 20 planner board, really episode 10 through 15 planner board, or these fake trees here. This statue can stay. But to clear all this out by hand would take far too long, so what we're going to need is some heavy machinery, also known as this kind of bad little toy excavator I made in like 10 minutes. Yes, now we can tear down everything here. Alright, let's knock down some fake pine trees. My expert heavy equipment operating skills here. Maybe this isn't going to work as planned. Ah, there we go. Alright. Now we're ready. I've brought out some heavy equipment to remove what's left of this park, and this will be fun. Oh, look at this beautiful view we get from in here. Let's drive. Forwards! Crush everything in my path. Aha! Let's clear out everything from this park now. Everything must be moved from here. Clear the area! Ha ha! Out of my way!
This is a crashing game. Gotta get a force to keep pulls everywhere, though. There we go. Looking good. Just ran into those. Ooh, climb up the ladder. There we go. Lags 5 seconds. You're really not smart for this. That one's smart. It seems like WSD converter's not like this. I thought it was obscene out there today. That's like 12 for the wheels. There we go. We can almost completely clear this area. There's one bedroom second right now. There we go. Oh, this is much better. Flat everything in my path. 2/3 of the park. Nope. 80% of the park, actually. Somewhere there.
Perfect. Finally, I have done what I've been waiting to do for, like a dozen episodes or more. Remove this park. Ah. So much empty space that I'll be able to work with. Alright, finally I think I've rounded up all the parts, other than these two, which can be salvaged. And I've loaded them up into this random vehicle I have here. And now, if I can just make it through the thicket of fake trees. Here we go, the storage center. Ah! And perfect. Another space to forget about it. Now that this area has been cleared out, what am I going to do with it? Well, I think the first thing on my agenda is to pave over everything with this lovely drab concrete. Ah, it's perfect. There was some semblance of life here before, but now it's just this flat plain. Perfect for future construction projects. But of course, not in today's episode. I can place this hot chocolate stand right at the train station to give you some concessions. Perfect. And the gazebo can go, I don't know, here, for now. This is looking much nicer already. I suppose this bulldozer is no longer needed now, so it too can be cleared out. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Now, let's find some things that need to be fixed. There we go. And now just like that, there's a doormat, a potted plant, or actually 3 potted plants, and a little awning. Let's see what else I can do to improve this place. You may notice something a little bit different here, or you may not. There's this little gap in between the petrochemical plant and Poptick's carpet store here, and while I was originally going to fill it in, I thought this would be the perfect spot to put a little alleyway, very tight, that leads to a secret skate park. So this is, and you can also access it from the Dirt Physics parking lot. This is Lapu's 2x2 generic skate park, with some modifications made to it to include the new wedges in most of the areas. And I put a fence here, and this snazzy light, which makes it look quite nice at nighttime. And I covered up the bit of carpet that you could see through here, so I think this looks quite nice for what was originally going to be basically just an unused part of the city. Actually has something now. And it just makes it a little bit feel a little more alive. And there's even a path to go to there. Now this void here really prevents there from being a nice cohesive visual flow between this row of buildings and this one. If only there were something to fill that void. Like this medium residential housing, programmer/engineer/slob by Agent Cryo. Built for my own city and David O1's Mini City on YouTube. I made everything except for the chair on the second floor. That was made by David O1. Me! Now, let's check it out. Now this building will fit almost perfectly into that slot, but let's check it out outside first. So the first thing you might notice about it is it has a little bit of an interesting style. Uses the standard brick facade, but it does not use the worn metal for the front. It instead uses that for the ceiling and the roof, which I think actually looks quite nice out here. With it unpainted, looks nice, a little worn but charming. There's a downspout here, and a bit of a bush there, a little thing. A nice door design. You'll see why there's those lines in a minute. And very nice, just a bit of vines growing out here. Nice large windows on the second floor. Around the back, there's actually a little bit of an alleyway cut out, which will go nicely with the one there. And a little else details, but this is meant to be put in a row. Here we can even see this, which we'll see more detail on later. And if we open the doors, it's an interesting design for the handle. I actually like it a lot. It's a button toggle design. We come in, it's very cramped in here. There's cobwebs here. He wasn't kidding when he said this was a home to a Slav, but turn the lights on. It's a bit dark and dingy here with this ceiling design. Nice calendar. Nice chair here. This is not made by me. Nice little table to sit at. Only one person though, but it's nice. Here we have electric range and an oven. I especially like this cabinet design and this dishwasher. Here we have mustard and ketchup, a sink, a pair of old boots, some piping, very nice. I really like the cabinet design though. Some oil, perhaps for cooking, and lots of boxes. This also has, I kid you not, one of the most, oops, gotta delete that, one of the most fully featured bathrooms in the city. This is one of only 3, I believe, that features a shower, a light, a little toilet. Only thing is lacking is a sink, but that can be corrected. Much to his ire, I'm sure, but there we go. Here's a sink. And where's the toilet paper at? Joining Poptick in the ranks of not including toilet paper in your bathrooms. I know it would get wet, but you kind of have to include one. Nice. Now we close that. Leave there nothing to lock it, but I suppose you'll be here alone anyway, so it's alright. Go upstairs. We can see there's a bookshelf. Quite a large array of books here, avid reader. This, as I've been informed, is just bubble wrap. There for kind of sleeve. Here we have a little potted plant. This lovely, if horrific, amount of bearings dedicated to this desk with the VESA monitor mount here. Nice, interesting keyboard design. I like that actually. A little more accurate than mine, probably. Takes up more space, but nice. Here we have some cans of, I'm not quite sure, maybe oil or something. Energy drink, actually, probably. The computer, yeah, alright, design. Little potted plant there. Nice mug. And here we actually have the air conditioner. And it's supposed to be one of those ones with the flexible hose that you can stick through the window. So that's a very nice attention to detail, though, that I do greatly appreciate. Little bed sunk into the floor and an alarm clock. Lots of stuff holding up this, but you can actually see the air conditioning even reaches downstairs through this hose. Very clever little design. Nice addition. And this is my chair, as you can see. Just the same one used in a lot of my older buildings. We have some circuit boards. This is supposed to be a programmer / engineer's house. There's lots of stuff being tinkered with on the ground. Fan. Overall, very nice. And there is actually a few secrets. Oh, this slant's slanted. So one thing, you might notice though, design-wise, this makes use of this very innovative dual wedge design. This is very clever. And saves space and allows you to have a two-sided block type. Very neat. Good job, Cryo. And the rest of it here is not too much else. Is there a light up here? Oh yeah, there is. There's this. And there we go. You can see that. I think that's all there is to see in this house. Now let's place it in the city. Though I have another development planned which may fit this a little bit better. There is simply nowhere that would fit it better than this because of this wonderful alleyway that'll extend. So, I will weld it down in here, but first, I must remove the safety plotting from our zoning proposal, and let's get this ready to weld in. This has a greatly reduced footprint, too, compared to a typical building. And there we go. Look at how nicely this alleyway extends through, and even will give access to a building that will go here. Wonderful. And now they form a bit of a tiered step design, which I think actually looks quite nice. There we go. Looks wonderful in the city. Now, of course, there is one more building that will be needed here, but... Alright, and I've just whipped up a very quick little cheap construction site here to represent that there is going to be a building here, and I think this ties the whole row together a little more cohesively. Although it's kind of funny, it's a coincidence that this goes from a 3-story building here to a tall 2-story to a kind of shorter 2-story to a under construction 1.5-story building here. So Kind of funny. This is very cheaply built and very quick, and there is nothing behind there, but I think it just makes it a little bit more immersive that there is something here. Now we can actually see what it's like to go into kind of an actual building here. Oh, lovely. You're working on some lights for the glorious MCPC building, Poptick. Great idea. They've saved the city. Perfect. Now there'll be no more hoodlums hanging out in front of the building. Although the tour seat is mysteriously gone. Oh, you're cleaning up the, trail. The, trail of a specific liquid. Thank you, Poptick. This will, make the mini-city, appear safer. Oh, wow, where did that pothole come from? That was not here a minute ago. Oh. Thanks, Poptick. It's as if it never happened. Well, that's an interesting plan, Poptick, but you can't put a commercial building there. That's industrial. Although, I mean, you have done a decent amount for the city here, and this has sat undeveloped for 25 episodes. I guess I could make a one-time variance for you to build something here, but it has to be good, and it has to fit in well. Alright. You can have the land. So this is Starpops Coffee and Bakery, MC, for David 001's Mini-City by Poptick, made by me, meaning Poptick, and some details forcefully added by David 001, that is of course me, and the fire extinguisher was made by David 001, and there is this very long, very appetizing, really, really long menu here. This is longer than the menus of most restaurants, so I mean, just look at this. But now, let's look at this in the city. Or really, I should say, weld it down outside the city before I finally bolt it down there. Because this is a large building. This is a 2x3, which already makes it among the largest buildings in the city currently. And it's meant for this high-density kind of industrial zone here, which he had to do some persuasion to get me to rezone this, but I mean, after looking at the final product of this, I do have to say, yeah, it is kind of worthy of that spot. I mean, especially since it's been sitting empty so long. So, this is Starpops, which I can't imagine Lapu and Gold are going to be too happy that this has popped up just 2 doors down, or 1 door down, actually. We have this lovely exterior here. So, when he originally built this, I thought this was going to be a Parisian cafe or something. But no, it's a chain, but really quite lovely out here. We have a lot of seats, very tight, but still nice. We have some lovely bushes, windows. There's a window where you can go. There's a drive-through on the side, although it's not. You'd have to drive up onto the curb for this, so. An illuminated sign that does hang over, but thankfully it doesn't obstruct in our building. Otherwise, this will just become Starpop. A bit of an industrial design on the outside here. Interesting. Now, if we head inside, we have a glass door right here. Stepping through here, we enter into... Let's turn the lights on. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Stepping into here, we have a nice high ceiling with some skylights and some bright lights. We have this very nice coffee mural logo here. Radio on the wall, with which also... Oh, no, it doesn't. We have some seats here. Bit tight. You have to walk through this one path, but still nice. Here we can see some scones that are definitely not just nuts and bolts. Here we have, I guess, what are some drinks or something that are absolutely not glue. And we can even open this up, open the sneeze guard to grab Well, this is actually a refrigerated unit. This is the sneeze guard. But we can grab one of these and... wood glue. Here we have some other products. Looking around, though, we have the menu, where we can order another radio, some ductwork, very nice. Great view of the skyscraper from here. Back we can see we have some cups, the lids there, cash register. Down below here we have a little bit of details with that. We can have access to the scones. We can flip around the sign to open and close the restaurant. We have some more cream, I'm assuming, and things. We have the coffee maker here. And then we actually have a bathroom in here, which is an interesting design. His classic doors here. There's a little drain on the ground. Soap dispenser, pretty high up, but still nice. It's sort of handicap accessible. There's a handle there to help you up. I really like what he did, this very unconventional ceiling design. This kind of like living ceiling, which helps diffuse the light. It's quite neat, although it is a little glitchy looking, but still, I like it. And we can shut and lock the door if we need to. There, over here, we have, this is meant to open to the alleyway. If this can be added a door to the alleyway, by default it's just blocked off. We have our power here. Bit of a ceiling there. Here we have wash, rinse, sanitize. It's one of those triple sinks. And then we have a little valve there. Some details are very nice. Here we have, I guess this is some kind of oven. We have a blender. Almost looks like a popcorn machine or one of those gumball. It looks like a gumball machine almost, but it's a blender, I think. It's quite nice. We have a deep fryer here. Very nice. We have some more condiment stations, packaging for your bags and boxes. You can open and close these two windows here. Very nice. And then here we have a large stove here, very enterprise grade, and a refrigerator. There we go. Lots of space, though no food. And of course, if you look, there's details all over these walls. We have an order the screen for displaying what the orders are. We have more ductwork, lovely skylight, sprinkler system in here, very state of the art, and fire extinguisher. There should be 2 or 3 of them in here, I think, or maybe just the one. And that's quite nice. Although there is one problem with this, which may cause some issues. There's no office. Well, I suppose technically there is this little pair of seats that Poptick says counts as the office, but I don't know. This will cause a lot of health code violations. They won't be able to be brought up anywhere but in front of all of the customers. Oh, wait. He fixed that. Yes, after I pestered him enough about this, he made Starpops Cafe and Bakery MC, now with an office. And this contains 18 ducts for you to find, and an obscenely long menu. The design is pretty much the same, although the smokestacks are now shorter, moved to the front, and instead, we have this, instead of having a little scaffolding, we now have this little boxy office. I actually quite like it, and it has a solar panel and lots of details, which we will go and look at. A few minor additions, such as this clock on the wall, but most of our focus is going to be on what is going on up there? Well, there appears to be some kind of possessed ladder. I'd love to drop it down, but, seems it's uncooperative, so, sorry, Poptick. The ladder, has to go. Though it is quite a nice folding design, it uses a lot of bearings and is prone to glitching. There we go. We'll just stack some crates to get up here instead. Far more elegant, probably works a little better. Maybe it doesn't look quite as nice, but I think it is fine. So now, here's our manager's office. Though the manager is not here right now, but we have another place. It's a little small here, no computer, at least in this corner, but we have a little area to meet, a large air conditioner unit, calendar. Great views of the city. Great views of this part of the building. This is actually, I believe, Poptick's first building to use these new blind pieces. I've used them a couple times in unreleased mini-city buildings that I'm still working on. They're interesting. They have good and bad components to them. Some lights in here. Another skylight. Very prison-like feel up here with the bars, but I think it's actually kind of neat. We have these fluorescent lights here. A little bit flickering in the walls, but other than that, nice. We have this very abbreviated-looking water dispenser here. Some cups. A computer desk to work at with a nice keyboard and a mouse and a unhealthily close screen. We have a little microwave and a coffee mug. We have a radio, a clock on the wall up here. It's for your alarm clock because there is in fact a bed. A small and kind of uncomfortable, lumpy looking bed. It looks like a sleeping bag actually, more so, but actually quite nice. And there's a little way to get up here. This is a nice little office. And at my bequest, he actually added a little door so you can go outside to perform some maintenance. Watch out for that glass. I'm not sure if I can hold my weight. Ah! You saw nothing. Anyway, we can walk around up here and get a little bit more of a sense of the details here. Coming up to the roof, we have these two kind of industrial smokestacks here that they don't really lead anywhere, but they are a nice decorative detail that just makes it feel a little more industrial and fit better in there. This solar panel design I really like. It has this kind of textured feel to it, and this was actually made before the new wedge blocks. This design. Here we have some solar water heating, I believe. Skylights. They're all very nice. And then we have a little bit of another awning here where you can look in. And so now I think it's finally time to tear back the construction fencing and finally build something for this spot. Yes, we can rip up this orange foundation. And there we go, all the traffic cones have gone to new homes. And this sign can join the other bundle. Finally, the last of the original plots has been sold. Now, let's weld it. Now that the lag has subsided, it looks beautiful there. Perfect. Look at those spectacular views we get. And it blends in pretty seamlessly. I think it adds some charm to here. Just barely avoids clipping into the warehouse door there. And I did have to move this forward one block, just so it doesn't touch the MCPC building. I don't believe it, but the ladder actually works. Kind of, this time around. It's semi-functional. It's not clipping into a wall, so I'm going to count that as a win. And look at those views of the MCPC building. You thought the corner coffee got a good view. This is directly below it. And in fact, if we head out here, we can actually see just how close we are to the other buildings. It is a direct shot, if only there were a window there, from there to City Hall. Quite a nice view you get here. And let's see how it looks from the City Hall. And let's see how it looks from here. Not that great. I mean, it's the back of a building, so what did you expect? Now, I can't imagine Lapu and Gold are going to be happy about this, though. Because there is a new coffee shop that is, well, it's bigger, more detailed, and has lower prices. But perhaps the artisanal coffee of Corner Coffee will be able to keep the customers, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm getting pretty tired. I should use some caffeine to keep me awake, but I don't know which of these two shops from prolific mini-city creators I should go and get one at. Maybe the Corner Coffee? Or maybe the Starpops? Or maybe, just maybe, neither of them. Enter Mom and Pop's Coffee Shop by Agent Cryo. This little rundown kiosk over here is the third coffee shop in the city, and they can't quite afford the latest equipment or a fancy building like them, but they brew it with love and old-fashioned techniques, and well, though they don't have many customers, those that they do have are quite loyal to them. And this building here is a 1x1. It's actually a little smaller than 1x1, and takes up this otherwise, pretty secluded part of the city here. This row of small shops. So we can come up to the counter, order. We have a little flower here, very nice. Some vines and weeds growing. We have this little sign here, I think it's supposed to be, with a broken downspout. Some graffiti on the walls, other wall as well. Very nice details. Inside we have a little tiny refrigerator, some old, is this coffee from, oh, spoiler for the next episode. Here we have some, here, a fuse box. We have a little coffee brewing machine, some wiring, great, going to a light here. Very nice details, some cobwebs in the corners, and some ductwork. And of course, there's a little seat where you can sit and wait to serve your orders. On the ceiling, we have a small water tower, and not much else. A little duck there hidden. That's nice. Some weathered kind of siding there. And then at the front, we have this kind of complicated but pretty cool sign with it's kind of falling apart, but looks nice. And so, this now means that there are three, count them, 1, 2, 3 coffee shops in competition in the city. All of them in a line. A straight line. I'm sure this will end well. But before we see the results of letting 3 different coffee shops into the same 32-person city, I figured we should also take a look at this Castle Burger by Ryan the Mario Man / the Kimchim? I believe that's how you pronounce that. This is made for the mini-city, the Castle Burger, founded in 1968, named after a place whom I cannot say just yet. I'm assuming a castle, but a place I think people, including David himself, don't tell him I said that. Huh? I hope David enjoys this. I hope I enjoy it as well. Now, let's look at it. It was published on April Fool's Day, but this Castle Burger is no joke. We have a little bit of kind of crenulations on the side of this building. It's low, but it's a typical fast food place. Nice burger design on the outside of this castle here. 2 windows, a door, a nice sign, and of course, a giant burger on top with a crown, which looks quite nice. If we head inside through this employee entrance, ooh, it opens inwards. We have a classic checkered floor on the ground here, little sink in one corner. We have a light we can turn on, a little stove, and some stuff. We have a trash can, maybe, refrigerator, a small cash register, box of something, some kind of condiments, maybe, and then, of course, our order window. Very simple, but effective. I like it. And, oh, some blindingly bright lights outside. Alright, nice. Let's weld it into the city. I think this direction works best for the burger in the city because we can see the sign driving down this road here. It's at the end, but you still see it. It's actually pretty bright, a beacon to draw you down here. Maybe spur some development around this side of the city. We can order our window right here, just walking past or even maybe driving by. And then we have a little area here, a little view, and then at the back we'll have the entrance. And so let's just add that really quickly. 6 blocks should be good. Well, I might have put a little more there than needed, but I mean, I think this looks quite nice. And you can also see I've attempted to make a bit of an intersection here with the stop signs and the little white line to stop at. Tell me if you like this design and if I should continue it with all the other intersections in the city, or just leave them the incorrect way they are right now. But I've just added a little fountain, a little plaza, a castle kind of playground sort of thing for the castle burger, and a little trash can. Overall, this has been a very productive, if a little long, episode, and I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen between Starpops and Corner Coffee. Nothing bad at all. But of course, to see the aftermath of that, you're going to have to tune in next time for episode 26, part 2. Yes, this episode's so long, it needs to be split into 2 parts. That one will basically be entirely dedicated to the rivalry between Lapu and his Corner Coffee, and Poptick and his Starpops, with poor Cryo's mom-and-pop coffee shop as a innocent bystander/victim of this all-out coffee war. And let's just say tensions are brewing in this bitter rivalry. Well, thanks for watching. I'm David01. I'll see you in the next episode. And depending on how smooth filming goes, that episode, part 2 of this, could come out in as little as a week or so. And if it gets delayed too much, episode 27 will come out before it. So it really depends. But yes, I have a lot of stuff planned for the mini-city. I've been on a backlog for far too long, but I have been building. And let's just say the city itself is building towards something. Well, thanks for watching. I'm David01. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye! Come on. Good. There we go. Goodbye!